service agreements and the generators that I looked at for Mark, and 1 year versus 3 year. I'll just report that with you when they're fine.
Okay. Yeah. It makes sense to go with the 3 year on them, but
Probably, unless they end up not being good. It always makes sense to go longer until it doesn't.
okay, I want to welcome everyone to our Monday, March 18th, 2019 meeting of the Whitley County Board of Commissioners. We'll start our meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First on our agenda, we have our attorney, Matt Shipman.
I just have a couple things to report on, one of which is I did review an agreement that Mark asked me to review for the generator service agreements, and those seem fine to me. You guys just have to decide whether you want to do the 1 year or the 3 year term. And I wanted to just let the commissioners know, ultimately you don't have to take any action, but this week we do have that PETA BOA hearing on the property that the Columbia City Redevelopment Commission took. Ultimately, we just it's kind of whether we give it a favorable pass and it keeps moving, but I think Kim is here. That's happening this week. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report.
Okay. Nathan Bilger, our Planning and Building Director, on the Schuyler Lake Estates Subdivision Plat.
And if you're willing, I have a second plat and bond as well.
Okay. That's also the Stanley Meyer.
No, this
Okay.
is the Park 31, Stanley Meyer.
Okay.
For Planning Commission.
Okay.
So this is Schuyler Lake Estates. It's a 2-lot subdivision. The Planning Commission approved it last month, located on West Old Trail Road. If you'll notice, in the middle of it, between the 2 lots, is a large lake. That's the reason it's called Schuyler Lake Estates. So standard 2-lot subdivision we see frequently, county road right-of-ways being dedicated.
And this has been approved by a plan commission?
Correct.
Secondary approval?
Secondary approval delegated to staff. Correct.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve this Schuyler Lake Estates subdivision.
Okay, we got a motion to approve the Schuyler Lake Estates subdivision plat. I'll second that. Discussion? All those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same.
Thank you. And I'll give you a moment to sign that while I discuss this one. The other one is for Park 30, Business Center, section, what are we up to, 5. What this does is it takes the existing lot 30 on the north side of Park 30 and converts 1 lot into 3, including a piece of public street as a cul-de-sac. This was primarily approved by the Planning Commission back in June of last year, if I remember right, maybe even May. They've been working on getting the public improvements in for the street and the drainage and so on. They got held up by winter and couldn't get the service down, and there's some, well, surface is the big thing. They're still working out some of the underlayment, the underlying asphalt with Brandon as well. They want to get the plat recorded though, and without the improvements being done, they have to post a bond. So they've submitted a bond, performance bond in the amount of $33,000, which would cover the primarily the surface again, and I think that should be sufficient. The overall contract amount was 170 something, almost 180, so this would be about 20% of that.
Okay.
So this would be both accepting the bond and then also the plat as well.
I got a question for you or Matt or both.
Yes.
Since I sit on the Park 30 board, should I abstain?
You don't own this.
You got that right. I wish I did.
Yeah, I think that's the answer, though.
This,
Privately held.
yeah, I only say that because it was owned by Park 30 when we started the whole thing, but Kinder and Associates bought it since then, and they're the actual owners now. That was one of the changes that we had to make last minute because we didn't realize ownership changed.
All right.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the performance bond and the plat approval?
Hearing what Nathan said, I move we approve it.
Okay, we got a motion to approve. I'll second. Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Thank you for mentioning that, Tom. Appreciate it.
Well, I want to make sure.
Thank you. Do you have anything else for me?
No, not at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. This time we'll, the Sheriff Gatton is here. I think he's got some issues with the elevator in the jail.
Oh, did you both have a chance, everybody have a chance to look over what I sent? Okay. I brought Kyle and Mark in since they have a little more knowledge on it, but I'm coming over to request if you guys can pay for the repair cost of the elevator in the jail building.
And you're asking how to seat it? Is that what you're looking? Okay.
Do you guys have any questions on the pictures about the rust or the
No.
cable? Okay.
Yeah.
You always have an issue when you come.
Okay, I will concur.
No, it's really out of our hands. We have no choice but fix it, so therefore I move we recommend to council to appropriate the money to fix it, to do the necessary repairs, I guess.
Okay, we've got an approval for a favorable pass to council to, for the CETA program, to pay for the elevator repairs at the jail.
Thank you.
We didn't really vote on it.
Oh, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, next we have Chuck Shrader, Impac Postage Machines.
It says, is this the one we're supposed to be in favor of?
Yeah.
Yes,
Would you state your names and companies, please?
yes, Chuck Shrader with Impac in Fort Wayne.
Dave Wagner of Impac.
Okay.
We're proposing new postage equipment for you guys. And we had some numbers and stuff. Do you have the paperwork there?
Yes.
Okay. Right now, you guys are, we just took an average of your 2 ounces that are going out every day. And that was about $731. And with the new system and new process, you guys can save about $80 a month in savings. And that goes up to about $100 when you start looking at the supplies. We'll give you guys free meter tapes and the ink is less, and the solution is also less. So it works out to about $110 a year, or I'm sorry, $1,100 a year in savings. And the equipment's a little bit heavier duty than what you have now. Runs a little bit faster. The machines will run thicker pieces of mail. Save you tapes and stuff on that too, so.
Okay.
We're a local company in Fort Wayne. We can usually be on site within 4 hours, or we guarantee that 4 hours. If they call us up, we like to fix it over the phone. Saves you guys time, saves us time, so.
Okay. And you have talked to the clerk and
Yep,
the
I've talked
auditor?
to both of them, yep.
Okay.
All right, I move we approve this proposal from Impact.
I think we have to wait for,
Because did you get me a contract?
I have a contract here.
I think we need to wait
Okay.
to review that.
Is it in that file?
We need to look at it.
Yep, that's fine.
Is this one expired? This is expired.
No, that's not it either. It's gotta be here somewhere. Well, I apologize, I don't have the contract with me. I do have a question. Is this gonna be drawn out of one account, or does each mail machine have to have their own account?
It's one account.
One account's fine? Okay. I can get that over to you right away then.
Okay.
I apologize, I'll get that to you.
So Angie said that the current lease agreements we have, one expires in June and one expires in July, so we'll really have to do two separate agreements probably anyway,
right,
because the current arrangement we have they don't lapse at the same time.
Okay.
Or you can set it up that first month is just one, but just so you're aware of that.
Okay, so what we could do, you guys are gonna get a credit too from Neopost to help cover the cost. You'll get a check for $2,360 that'll be made out to you guys to cover any changeover costs too. So, we can maybe do something where we can get it in right away and you won't have to pay any bills until June or July. And I'll check on that and show you get you the contract on that,
okay.
so.
And I guess the way I'd like to see this is that you work with the auditor and the clerk.
Okay.
And that they present it to us, the contracts.
Okay, yep, that's fine.
Now, also, do you do the Wi-Fi? That was one question I had with the
Yeah.
clerk's office. We were going to have to go to a Wi-Fi on the other.
What we would do is provide you guys with a little box that's Wi-Fi so they don't have to do anything, as long as we're allowed to get on your Wi-Fi. They just hit the button and it works. You don't have to, there's no charge for that either, so.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anytime we can save money.
Yeah.
Becky Salaway, purchase order approval for Council on Aging.
This is the NDOT 5339. It's just the purchase agreement. This was for the grant that we had written last year.
Right.
So it's now just time to order them.
Okay.
So we're getting a low-floor minivan, and I think you have copies of it there.
Yes.
A low-floor minivan and a mid-sized transit vehicle.
Right.
So,
For a total of $90,637.
yeah. And then on the, did I fax over those? This tells you how much 5311 is paying, our 20% match.
Yes.
Okay.
The question I did have on that was, when I looked at it, was, hold on one second here. If we exceed the 20% local match by, there was $346 per vehicle, who pays for that $346? Is that,
We do.
okay,
And I believe the reason it exceeded the match was because of the, we had selected an option, which was there's a built-in reverse backup camera
I see that,
in the rearview mirror.
okay.
So we went over, and so, yes, that's our responsibility to pay.
Okay.
Everything was covered in the low-floor minivan, and we did add the option of vinyl seats.
Okay,
That was the first time we had that opportunity, and it's kind of hard to keep those cloth seats clean. So we were able to move ahead and get vinyl seats. In mid-size transits, they don't offer that.
okay,
But when they do, we'll be looking to do that too.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only question I had, Commissioner.
Other question?
Well, I don't know, pretty well I move we let George sign this.
And I do believe George is
Grant.
asking for your signature because I think your signature is the one that's on the grant.
Right,
Right.
right. Okay, we got a motion to approve the chairman to sign for the purchase agreement. Got a second? Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Additionally, I don't
What?
know if you received, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you need that in blue? Or is it black
I
ink?
don't- I
Okay,
think black ink is
okay.
fine. The general tax exemption certificate, did I have faxed over as well?
I've got that right here.
Okay, that has to be completed by the commissioners in order.
I have one.
You do? Okay, awesome. And I don't know for sure, Jana, who's supposed to sign, because technically the commissioners are the purchasers, correct?
Okay, so if you want to sign that, I'll finish filling it out.
Okay.
What's the delivery time on these?
Well, it's NDOT, so whenever they feel like it, basically. It's usually middle to end of September, first part of October that the new vehicles arrive, so,
5 or 6 months.
yeah. And then it goes in June 1 for 2020. And we're still in great need of drivers. If you wants to drive a transit vehicle, you guys love to talk to them.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The CDL.
No, you don't.
You don't.
Huh.
Not for those vehicles, so
You gotta pass the physical.
you gotta pass the physical. That's the tough part on that, but thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you. Todd Geiger, 4-H update.
How are you?
Good. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to come in this afternoon, just kind of give you an update about our 4-H program here in Whitley County. Kind of give you a packet, not going to go through everything in here, you guys can obviously read through. But just give you a quick rundown of our 4-H program, both our traditional and our mini 4-H program. So our traditional is obviously 3rd grade through 12th grade. Mini program is kindergarten through 2nd grade. That is not the same all across the state. Each county is kind of different on how they handle their 4-H program in terms of whether they offer a mini or a clover bud or whatever. Ours is kindergarten through second. This past year, we had a total of, in 2018, had a total of 811 kids that were a part of our Whitley County 4-H program. This was up 41 youth from the year before. We had 692 kids that were a part of the traditional program, so that is 3rd grade through 12th grade. We had 119 kids that were part of the minis, so kindergarten through second. Currently, as of just today, we are up to, for 2019, we have 786 kids enrolled, which is quite a bit ahead of where we were last year at this time, so that's awesome. I think
That's great.
we'll probably easily eclipse the 811 mark from last year. In fact, just 2 weeks ago when I was here giving the update to county council, that number's already up 21 from when we were there. So that's really exciting. Going to kind of skip over the adult volunteers. It does take about 160 adult volunteers to make our program go. And that doesn't include the folks that work the week of fair and concessions and run shows and things like that. So last year we offered 63 total projects. Of those projects, really only 9 of them are livestock based. If you'll see on the back page, on page 2, I'm going to kind of skip real quick down to the top projects of 2018. I did this with our livestock leaders about 3 weeks ago. They always question numbers and where are we at, where we've been in history. So if you take our 9 animal projects, you can actually break them out to about 13 total animal projects if you take all the cattle and break them apart by how they're shown. Of those 13, believe it or not, 6 of ours are still growing. 7 of them are 5 of them are holding relatively steady. 2 of them are on the decline. But that's kind of a cycle over the decades. There's always 1 or 2 that are dropping, others that are going up, all depends. So those are numbers as of last year. So you'll see this is probably the first time, and maybe Tom has more information on that than what I do. First time that I can ever remember that we had another species that was higher than swine in Whitley County. So we had 158 kids that exhibited feeder calves and 156 kids that exhibited swine. That's a pretty wide trend, not only just in Indiana, but across the country. Swine is on the decline. Of course, if you look at the market, similar to that of dairy, it's not holding very strong, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So also have on there just a couple of our non-livestock projects, just giving you numbers. Arts and crafts jumped up. That's the first time in a long time arts and crafts was ahead of photography or baked foods. Photography is actually on the grow. In 2017, we only had 88 kids in photography. In 2018, we had 102. So this year, it looks like we're going to be back over 100 on that as well. Some kind of our new non-traditional stuff that we're offering. So these are part of the program that you don't typically see the week of fair. That kind of opens the door for our 4-H program to get out and impact kids that we don't typically reach, kids that don't see themselves as 4-Hers because they still equate 4-H to being livestock. I got to live in the country, so when they hear 4-H, they just instantly kind of block us out. So kind of open that door to something new and reaching a new audience. So there's quite a rundown of some new stuff that we've done over the past year or 2 years. Everything from remote control cars, a junior chef academy where we have a lady that comes in and teaches kids how to meal prep, plan a meal, how to cook the meal. They actually eat a meal each time that that she holds the workshop, and then the final workshop, they actually come in and plan a meal for them and their parents and cook the whole thing. So that one's been really exciting. Some new ones that we did this year is a bowling clinic. Yes, Whitley County's always had a 4-H bowling project, but we don't really do anything with it other than the kids get an opportunity to go to Main Bowl, they get a bowl, they bowl up to 12 games, and then they do a tournament on the end. But we don't really do anything with it, so I'm trying to incorporate the high school bowling team. So we have 3 kids from the high school bowling team along with a local gentleman that's I would call him semi-pro. Bulls all the time. He's really good. So they're coming in 3 different times and just helping the kids, giving them tips, teaching them techniques. We get everything. So just the other weekend, one of the boys that was there was his first time ever bowling. He'd never bowled before in his life. So that was exciting to see, reaching just new kids doing different things. So we're going to do a dog rally workshop this spring. Rally is kind of a new venture in the dog project. Rally kind of takes a cross between dog obedience, which is what dog originally was obedience with your dog, and then with the agility, where they're jumping over things, going through things. This kind of combines the two. So kids actually walk to a station, and at the station there's a sign that instructs the kid what they need to do with their dog, and the judge just simply stands out there to see whether they complete that station. So it could be everything from sit your dog 20 feet away, walk back, call the dog to you, and then have the dog return, to have your dog go through one obstacle, and so they just go station to station. So we're excited to do that. I think that will actually really jump the number of kids that are involved in dog. You think about it, how many families that live wherever that have a pet, have a dog that would like to be in that. So Creators and Explorers and the Makers Fair, those 2 programs we launched this year out at Northern Heights Elementary. We wrap up actually this Wednesday. Those are geared towards 2 different age levels. So Creators and Explorers is lower elementary, Makers Fair is higher elementary. That all incorporates our STEM program that we launched a year ago, where I have a group of high school kids from our 4-H program that we go out into schools and we do hands-on STEM activities. The kids help create all the activities, they do all the planning, and they lead everything. So when we go to those events, I'm just the supply boy when we go. I don't do any of the leading, I don't teach anything, the kids all do that. The kids love it, the high school principals are really excited about it because that actually gets their kids out in the school and actually teaching youth and using STEM. So with those 2 activities, that's been really exciting. The younger crew, we've been focusing mainly on food science and engineering. The Makers Fair, which is the older kids, has been really focused on computers and robotics. We have a total of 31 kids that are a part of those 2 programs, and of those 31, 29, this is their first time ever doing anything with 4-H. So if I can grow a big enough team that can get out and get into the schools, I think the amount of kids that we can impact through our 4-H program is going to grow tremendously. All those kids had no idea that the kids that were leading were actually 4-Hers. They didn't know they could do this in 4-H. So that was really exciting. And a side effect of that, of those 31 kids, we actually had 11 of them join the traditional 4-H program, because they learned about different projects that were not animal related, so they didn't have to live out in the country and have a barn. And so they actually joined the traditional program, so which was really exciting. So the last part there is just about the 4-H STEM Connection program, which is that group of high school kids that we go around the county trying to get into as many schools as we can to do hands-on STEM activities. We've been able to get into 2 new schools this year for the first time, which is really exciting. And we really try to make it as flexible as we can. If they want us to come in 1 class at a time, by grade level, by multiple grade levels, and we kind of let the teachers decide which projects kind of fit the curriculum for them, and bring those projects in. So that's been really great. You'll see there in 2017, 2018, that 4-H STEM Connection team actually worked with over 1,200 youth. So
That's great.
that's all I got. I know that was a lot in a short amount of time. Any questions for me?
Well, we're proud of our 4-H program that we have, and with the extension, it's been a premier part of Whitley County for a long time. We appreciate what you do. I do have a question on the robotics.
Yes.
You've got the robotics club and then robotics experience. What's the difference between the 2?
Okay, good question. So our robotics experience is actually a joint venture that I do with Noble County 4-H. We do that over the holiday break time. We do it on a Saturday. We bring them to the 4-H center. We promote it in both counties. And then we come in, and I think this last year we had like 26 robots there. The kids come in, and it's a full day. It's 6 hours. We have them from 9 a.m. to 3. We feed them lunch, and they learn how to build the robots. They learn how to program all the robots. And in like the last hour and a half, we set up like 6 different competitions, and the kids just have fun going through the different obstacles, everything from speed to precision to running an exact course where they got to actually program everything ahead of time, set the robot down, and hope that they've programmed everything correctly. So the robotics club, that is one that's actually going to meet over a span of 4 or 5 days. It'll be a shorter span of time, about an hour and a half each time that they meet. Our hope there, with that being new, this is only the second year we've done that one, is to grow that into a program where we can take those kids to different competitions around the state. 4-H actually has robotic competitions that these kids can compete in, but we got to build enough interest to make that seem worthwhile to travel.
Sure.
So,
That's great.
We need to be really, really proud of the 4-H fairgrounds we have in this county. It's one of the very, very few in the state of Indiana. It's all free admission. And the 4-H club's incorporated in the 4-H council and all that. And Todd's, kind of the backbone or the leader is involved with all of them. And during, whether you have livestock or not, during that week of the 4-H fair, it's about like a national holiday in Whitley County.
that's exactly right. So super excited to work with our 4-H program. Contrary to what you may see pop up, especially within the last week on our 4-H program on social media, our 4-H program is definitely on the grow. We're only one of a handful of counties across the state that has been seeing growth over multiple years. Last year, Whitley County was one of the top, if not the top, in the state in growth in our 4-H program.
That's great.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's really saying something this, for a little county like Whitley County.
Yeah, it really is.
That shows the quality of people that we have working for us.
Yes, absolutely. And all the volunteers. I couldn't do it without our volunteers.
No, we're very fortunate here.
Thank you, Todd.
Very much.
Brandon Forrester, highway engineer, highway director and engineer.
A couple things. As far as the highway department, we've been doing some patching, been trying to work gravel roads in spring, and frost comes out and gravels get kind of mushy, so we've been hauling some stone out to them. We got
Actually, everything's held up pretty good this year, I think. We've kept it in good shape before, and it makes a big difference.
Well, if it quit freezing and thawing all the
yeah,
time.
right, no kidding.
Yeah, we're done with that. After this week, that'll be done.
I told the guys the way to save money on patching is to patch them when they're small. So we're trying to do that. We picked up our new 1-ton dump, and our new sign truck is out at W.A. Jones getting a bed put on, so
Good.
that'll probably be our equipment purchases for the year. I put a detour map that I just received on Friday. NDOT is, it's in design phase. They're going to be replacing the superstructure on the US 30 bridges over the Eel River. And so they'll be doing them one at a time, so there'll be crossovers. And because of the length of the project and for safety concerns, they're proposing to close off access at 100 South. I don't see a big problem with it. There's a few houses east of 30 there that may use 300 East anyways. We've got a couple businesses there.
Yeah, sale right's gonna have to be made aware of.
Yeah. And Triad, which Triad should be using the signal at 300 anyways. Possibly the biggest impact would be to folks at Eastgate. But it's a safety issue with the proximity of the project to that intersection. They just felt that that was the best thing to do, so I just got this Friday. I don't see any major problems. It's a one-season project, so it's,
They give a time estimate for this project?
it's one construction season is my understanding. I don't remember what.
One season, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that means, from March to November possibly.
So this will be similar to the project across the Blue River a couple
Yes.
years ago.
Yes, exactly. Right. And I don't remember when the letting is on that.
Well, it's already a traffic jam there anyway, so everybody's
Yeah,
used to it.
Well, and yeah. Probably put a little more traffic there at 300. Which, it's better than the alternative because, you gotta have them crossovers far enough away that they would basically be into the intersection with crossovers, and I think it's the less of two evils. I think it's better to just close those approaches off, and
Yeah.
that's not the safest intersection in the first place. There was a pre-con, State Road 109, just south of 500 North. They're replacing a small structure there. That will be, I'm not sure the start date, but they just had a pre-con, so that's coming up shortly. So we did get, back in November, you guys signed unofficial detour, and that's
Right.
been approved by them, so that'll be 500 to airport to 400, so.
That'd be a complete shutdown for a short time.
Yes, State Road 109 will be shut down, yes. Community crossings. Our paving bids, I spoke to the contractor that was the low bidder. I've spoken to Dave Armstrong at NDOT. I've prepared a change order to reduce the quantity, because the project itself was a little over my estimate because all the material prices went up this year. And then B, because there's a conflicting project on the outskirts of Churubusco. So I don't have that approved by them, by Fenn and Brown, and we've got till April 15th. So hopefully, I don't know if their guy was on vacation last week or busy with other things. I didn't hear back from them, but hopefully we can get that wrapped up on your next meeting on the 1st and get going with that.
Do you know when that'll start then, Brandon, or about?
I can't know for sure. I put a September 15th completion date because I didn't want it going into November. Typically, the way construction contractors, heavy construction road contractors work is whatever project has the soonest completion date, that's the one they work on. So it would be my guess that it would be, July, August, September,
Okay.
when it's, and that's good for us, because we've got prep work that we need to do, so.
All right.
It is time to commit to the state salt bid, unless we want to go on our own, and sounds dangerous based on what I've heard, so. Boy, I'd like to just go out on my own and say, hey, let's fill that thing up this summer, but I don't have the money in my budget to do that, so. I figure I'm gonna commit to, well, at least 1,000, I'm thinking 1,200 ton. Because we can fit it in there, and then between what's left in this year's budget and next year's budget, I'll be able to should be able to purchase that much. And it's plus or minus 20%, so.
How much have we used this year so far, this season?
Well, we've got a couple big piles out there that have some salt in them, which actually once we're a little more confident that we're through the season, we're gonna actually move that into the barn, so the rain doesn't wash our salt away. And I wanna say that we went through about 1,000 ton. So,
More than I would have thought.
yeah, it's less than last year. But yeah, we get
We've had a lot of ice this year,
those little events and the ice and, yeah.
every weekend.
Yeah, right, no kidding. Tell me about it. It adds up. So, the final thing for me is I'm very close to having the annual report. We have to do an annual operations report for the highway department. Took me a little longer this year because of the new state board of accounts requirements, and so I am very hopeful to have that for you at the next meeting. Usually we do that in about February or March, but so other than that, I just received this right-of-way permit today. It's from what I understand, a consultant that's doing some work for CenturyLink. I'm not quite comfortable with the verbiage or the detail in the plans. They're talking about putting the plan says place new stub pole, place new repeater on stub pole. Now, I'm not a phone engineer, but that makes me part of it, one of the thoughts is, are we talking one of these 100-foot steel poles with a Wi-Fi repeater on it, or what are we actually talking about here? So I'd really rather kind of hold off on this one, get some more information.
Okay.
But I understand I think we got one. If so, and I'll.
Looks just like just the one. While you're here, we'll go ahead and look at the right-of-way. That's on County Road
600 East. Directional board for 3-inch gas main. Move we approve it.
Okay, we got a motion to approve. I'll second. Discussion. And you have approved that then, Brandon?
Yes, and there's county drains involved, and the drainage board approved it this morning also.
Okay. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Brandon, on the city project that they've got going with SDI, will we do an assessment, a road assessment, after everything's done, or how do you do that?
Yeah, there's gonna have to be an assessment done, definitely. I guess we'll see when they think they're done, what things look like.
Are they in contact with you?
They are, yes, I mean, somewhat. And they've been in contact somewhat with engineering for the drain crossings. We've had some issues.
Well,
And I know you guys have gotten some complaints, and we've gotten some complaints, and, you know, it's not my project.
yeah.
So I can't tell the contractor what to do.
I guess we just have to make them aware that, you know, there will be an assessment afterwards, and we have to have it
Yeah,
up to standards.
yeah,
I know they're aware of that, but
right.
I think we just have to make sure that they know that we're watching it.
Well, we had a healthy discussion at the Drainage Board meeting this morning, and I need to reach out to the city and let them know what some of the issues that we're hearing about,
Yeah, Commissioner Western told me a little bit about.
aware of, so, yeah.
Good. Anything else?
Anything else? No?
Tom?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, claims, I had a chance to go up and look at claims, everything looked really good, and I'd ask that we approve claims and make a motion to approve.
I move we approve the
Payroll?
payroll claims, yeah.
Payroll claims have been, we've got a motion to approve payroll claims as presented. Any discussion? I'll second. All those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed, the same.
Also move we approve the rest of the claims also.
Okay, we got a motion to approve the regular claims as presented. I'll second. Discussion. All those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, the minutes, you've had a chance to take a look at the minutes. Any questions, any amendments?
Move we approve them as written.
Got a motion to approve, I'll second. Just for discussion, I just wanted to bring up that we did table the ordinance number 2019-02. I think we had it approved, but it was, Don had someone in the community that needed to take a look at that before we approved it. Have you heard anything on that? It's the ordinance amending the Chapter 51 of the Whitley County Code of Ordinances regarding water wells.
I don't,
He voted to change it to the April 1st meeting,
Okay,
so that's going to be brought back to the board for that meeting.
okay,
And we have them request by email, and I've sent that report to them.
okay, good. Thank you, Scott. Okay, other than that, I didn't have any discussion. All those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed, the same. Thank you. Angela,
Yes.
anything?
Request to, just one request to use county facilities. It's from the Downtown Business Association. It's their annual request to use the alley that's located just to the east here. And actually, this also includes the courthouse square for all First Friday events and Art in the Alley. They'll put the trash can, the benches, the flower pots in the alley, and then courthouse square, I'm assuming just the same as they always do, the bouncy house.
And they're aware that they have to work with maintenance on this also.
Move it, approve it.
Got a motion to approve, I'll second. Discussion,
Will they, is there any electrical needs?
Probably for like the bouncy house and things, but it would
That
be
they
the
have to
same
work
as
with the
the.
city?
any further discussion? All those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same.
That's all I had.
Matt, anything further?
No, I see Mark left. I wasn't sure, did he need those agreements approved? He didn't stick around.
I'm not really sure whether he did or not. We'll have,
I guess maybe to the extent that, the only issue left to decide was whether to do the 1 year.
1 year or 3 year.
And there is a cost savings if you do the longer period, and just what your fancy is, I suppose, on that, but.
okay.
There's really no reason not to go the extended period, is there?
I mean, just the usual reasons of, being tied to a contract with somebody, but it's not some small company, it's with
McAllister.
Caterpillar, so it's been around for a little bit, so we're probably safety.
And we've been in contract with them
Yeah,
before.
it's the same company we've been using. It's just a longer-term contract with some discounts as a result of it. And Mark really wanted to use the 3 year, I think, because of the cost savings. But that's typically, you guys have not wanted to do longer-term contracts, just because you're stuck in a longer-term contract if it's not.
But with this, we've got a
That's-
discount, and we've got some history with that company also.
Yeah, it's not some fly-by-night outfit.
No.
Do we need a motion on that to,
Well, I'm not sure since Mark's not here, but let me look. I was just going to look to see when it starts, because I can't remember off the top of my head. Prices shown are valid till April 5th, 2019. So you would have a meeting between now and then.
guess we could table it until
Yeah.
we talk to Mark on it.
Yeah, it'd be fine. It doesn't say actually on here when. It's just at the expiration of the, oh, here we go. It's actually effective, well, this is just the period it's open for, from March 5th till April 5th. It doesn't say the, I'm sure it's just at the back end of the previous agreement, but maybe just table it.
Yeah. Motion to table.
So moved.
All those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed the same. Thank you. Gina.
I actually don't know.
Commissioner?
I don't have anything.
I do have Paula Warden presented me with the membership for the advisory board, the new membership, and she needed that approved. That's Community Corrections Advisory Board.
Do you want me to read them off?
You can.
DJ Ziegler, prosecuting attorney, and Matt Rensselaer, judge. Doug Fall, judge. Marcus Gadden, sheriff. And Amy Motter, probation officer. Teresa Green, mayor's office designee. Corina Hernandez, director of the Division of Family and Child Services. Greg Hockemeyer, criminal defense attorney. Tim Comfort, county council, physical body. Mike Shrader, public safety layperson.
think there's some on the back too,
Well,
or maybe the second page.
is there another page in?
Yeah.
By golly, you're right.
Should make it easy.
Jennifer Reef, Educational Administrator. Mr. Lauber, Mental Health Administrator. Don Sexton, Business. Patty Cook, layperson. Mike Rush, Senior Judge, layperson. Nancy Prickett, layperson. Bob Lauder, Education layperson, and George Schrump, County Commissioner. Is there more?
That should be it.
No, there's some more. Lindsay Gross Nickel, Juvenile Detention Alternatives. James Shewer, layperson. Tom Rethlick, layperson. Ian Deach, Juvenile Probation Officer, and Kurt Lehman, ex-offender. Will we approve all these for the community?
Okay, we got a motion to approve the membership roster for Community Corrections Advisory Board. I'll second. Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Take that last page. I think it's got a signature. There we go. I think that's all I had. Anything from the public? Call for the motion.
So move we adjourn.
Got a motion to adjourn, second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you.